Rainer Hess could have lived quietly in the shadow of his family's Nazi past. Instead, he confronts it every chance he gets.
A lot of people are really interested what's going on in the past.
On this day, he's at a Toronto high school with a sickening slideshow. Photos of his own privileged family, whose home overlooked the deadly camp his grandfather ruthlessly ran.
So he was a million mass murderer in the Second World War, without regret, remorse in any ways. That's my father, Hans-Jürgen. So when you see that image, I think you see a lovely family smiling everywhere.
Hess's grandfather was Rudolf Hoess, an officer in Hitler's army and commander of the Auschwitz concentration camp, where 1 million Jews were gassed to death and many later incinerated. After the war, Hess was convicted as a war criminal and later executed at the very same camp he once ruled. A dark history his family buried until Rainer Hess discovered it as a teenager and began to denounce it over and over again.
Well, I know he can never do anything against it. I can cut him down in pieces. I can hate him whenever I want.
Rainer broke ties with his family when he was 15 and began to research its past. The details are chilling. How his grandmother reminded the children to wash the ash off the fruit in the garden before eating it. The ash was from the camp's incinerator. And how his grandfather's gold officer ring was made from the gold teeth sifted from the victim's remains.
I saw it when they watched about the ring. And I explained how many people have to die for a ring. I don't be that guy and said, okay, I need 30%. I'm not a politician. 1%, 1 person of 100 is enough who spreads the message I deliver.
So I was wondering, from just the history with your last name, have you ever considered changing it legally?
So I and my kids and grandkids, we committed and said, okay, we use that name, Hoess, as a powerful tool against fascism, racism, homophobia, sexism, whatever exists in the world.
I think it's so strong and powerful from him to do that and to speak to so many people about such an experience.
It's really brave of him, and it is definitely necessary for people to learn about the history.
And with acts of hate on the rise, the Jewish group that brought him here says Hess's perspective resonates now more than ever.
He took it upon himself to make it his life's project in combating hate, populism, nationalism, denial, because he really sees that around him and sees that he carries an important voice.
Now in his 50s, Hess says this is his life's work.
How long will you keep doing it?
As long as I can. As long my feet put me from one end to another.
Defined by his family's history and determined to create a new legacy. Joanna Rumiliotis, CBC News, Toronto.